The major newspapers carry a daily count. Most Americans know within a couple people how many American soldiers and Marines, sailors and airmen have been killed in Iraq and Afghanistan. People don't have a guess how many contractors. Those are still American citizens. Those are Americans who volunteered to do a job, gone overseas, and been killed for it, and there's absolutely no visibility on it.
Coming up next, when private citizens come home from war, these civilian men and women struggle with the same wounds, physical and psychological, as the military troops, but with little support and even less recognition. Retired U.S. Army Sergeant First Class Sam Walker works with at-risk teens at a youth program in Georgia.
I used to drive a Chevrolet. Now,
3.5 years ago, when he was getting ready to leave the Army after 24 years, he heard about a good-paying job.
I went to the job fair. They told me to fill out a resume. I filled out a resume, and I sent it to KBR. And about a week later, I had a phone call saying that they wanted to make me a job offer. They made me a job offer, and I accepted.
Walker went to Iraq to work for Kellogg Brown & Root, known as KBR, then still a Halliburton subsidiary, in 2003.
I went to Iraq because the money sounded good, and I wanted to buy a house, buy a new car, and also to continue to serve my country in a certain way, by working with the soldiers.
KBR has billions of dollars worth of contracts for work all over Iraq, including construction and management of recreation centers for off-duty troops. Sam Walker was hired to coordinate activities at one of those centers.
They wanted to hire me as a MWR coordinator. And MWR coordinator was, their basic responsibility was morale, welfare, and recreation for the soldiers.
He thought the job was far from the front lines until December 21st, 2004. That day, Walker went to the KBR-run dining hall in Mosul. He was about to eat lunch with a group of contractors when a suicide bomber attacked.
There's a big flash, a big bright light, a flash of light just coming toward, and I can feel the heat. And next thing I know, when I wake up, I'm laying on the floor screaming, and there's, blood and guts and body parts all over the place.
20 Americans died, 15 of them soldiers and 5 civilians. More than 60 people were injured. It was the deadliest single incident for U.S. troops since the war began. Sam Walker had been just a few steps away from death.
Well, the clothes that I was wearing, they was burnt from the heat from the flame. And there was a lot of copper wire that was that was in my clothes, because they were saying that, how did I get all this copper wire? I was so close to the bomber that the people that was right behind me and next to me, they was all killed, And they was wondering, I was so close to the bomber that the copper wire that was used in the detonator was stuck inside of my clothes.
Walker went home to Georgia to recover from severe head and back injuries and resigned from KBR.
I started having nightmares. I started seeing things like experiencing the bombing all over again, trying to get the smell out of my nose from smelling the blood, trying to get rid of the screams from hearing the other, the people in there screaming.
Diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, by both his own and KBR's insurance company's doctors, Walker was stunned when medical benefits were denied.
The insurance company wouldn't pay for any treatment for PTSD.
Walker hired attorney Gary Pitts, who represented soldiers with PTSD who fought in the first Gulf War.
And the military takes this stuff seriously. They brief everybody coming out of the theater on what the symptoms are. If you start having this, go get some help. And they check back up on them 3 or 4 months after they've left the war zone to see how they're doing. And the military healthcare system and the VA are all set up to take care of PTSD cases. Anyway, all the civilian contractors don't have this.
More than a year after the claim was denied, Attorney Pitts won Walker's workers' compensation case, and he